Hello everyone, and welcome to a guide for Halls of Valor normal mode. We're going to be going only over the bosses, none of the trash. Most of the trash is tank and spank, don't stand the fire. Here's boss number 1, Hymdall. So you'll notice here that on either side of this bridge there are drakes. So he will be calling on them at a later time. If you see here behind him, you see where the fire mage is. There is a dancing weapon floating on the ground there. It does do a lot of AoE damage. You just saw him cast another one. Avoid that at all costs. That does heavy AoE damage. So don't stand in that. And if you start seeing here, you see a few of the drakes starting to position themselves on either side. When I see a drake go up to the ledge where we are, I need to run away from that. You see here, that drake ran up, I run away from it. Storm breath coats the ground and it does a lot of damage, but it does go away rather quickly. So you see there's another one coming up right in the middle. I need to move away from that. Just make sure you're aware of your surroundings and you dodge everything. You see someone get hit there. That was pretty heavy damage even for normal mode. And that covers it for him, really. Up next, we have Hyrja. Now she does have 2 trash mobs that have abilities that she then absorbs. Here's one of them, Sanctify. You do need to just dodge everything that's being cast out. So when you do have Sanctify, even if you're melee, run out of there. Searing Light is another one. Try to interrupt it. If you do not, then that person needs to run away from the group because they will explode in a big AoE. The next trash mob is going to have a small move called Eye of the Storm. Summons a bubble on the ground, starts AoEing. All you need to do is run into that bubble and you'll be safe. Besides that, there's not much else to this trash. The boss, however, does absorb all these abilities and does get a few new ones. So you'll see here's the boss, and we do have her positioned right around the middle. Here's a big thing on the ground, don't stand in it. Sanctify again. So here we go, try to avoid all this damage. You see a lot of my melee is not moving out, and you'll start seeing all the damage that they're taking in that party frames over on the left. Now I avoided the large majority of it. Shield of Light is something that you need to make sure you have active mitigation popped, whether that's shield block, whether that's ignore pain, whatever it is a huge damage dealing ability as a frontal cone in front of her. Eye of the Storm, so just run into the bubble again. Don't get hit by anything outside of the bubble. Here we have Fenrir. Now for him, there is a big AoE growl that he does that you need to be aware of. Ravenous Leap is a big AoE ability, so if you are the one that's going to get targeted by this leap, make sure you run out of the raid because it will land and do big AoE damage to everyone. This howl that he just cast right here interrupts all spell casting, so make sure that you are not casting when that is being thrown out to the raid. And at about 50%, Fenrir does run away and starts healing up. So when that happens, you need to make sure to try to get to him as soon as possible, or else he will heal up completely. There is a little bit of trash, just make sure you deal with it. Here's another howl, don't cast. Here we have Leap in second stage. He does leap 4 different people, so everyone has to make sure to spread out, or else 4 different leaps targeting the same AoE area are going to be pretty devastating for everyone. Scent of Blood is something that he does where he targets a party member and does do a lot of damage. If you want to, you can kite them. If you think you have some damage mitigation, you can go ahead and pop that when you're being targeted. And that about covers it for Fenrir. Claw Frenzy should be mitigated amongst all the melee. If you have no melee and you have all range, make sure that all of your range goes within melee just to mitigate that claw damage. Here we have Skovald, who does a massive AoE ability called Ragnarok. When he does that, you need to use the ability that you have set on your bar, the Aegis. So I let a few ticks go by and then pop the shield. Everybody needs to run into the shield to stop taking damage. You see not everybody does that, and you see how heavy the damage is on them. They almost go down. Savage Blade is one of those moves that's just a hard hitting move on your tank. Make sure that your tank uses a mitigation ability during that time. Here, during this claiming of the Aegis, he throws fire on the ground. Just make sure to not stand in the fire. And after this, someone needs to go pick up the Aegis. And next time you cast Ragnarok, make sure you just let 1 or 2 ticks go by, pop the bubble, and DPS him down. Besides that, he does do that rush ability that does do minimal damage to the group. Up next is Odyn. Now he throws little vortexes on the ground that come up as spears. That is quite a lot of damage. You see a few being cast here. Just make sure to avoid them, jump out of them. The next thing he does is he does suck everybody in and then do a massive AoE ability. Now this AoE ability can kill you, and you have 3 seconds to run out of that circle. You see it being cast here. Run out of the circle as to not be hit by it. The next thing he does is all those spears that he threw on the ground, he will shatter them. And what happens is when they get shattered, they become orbs of light that do a lot of damage. So here you see all the orbs of light, just avoid them. Don't get hit by them. Besides that, right after that, he does put a rune on top of you. Try to find the rune on the ground that corresponds to this. As a tank or a healer, if you don't find it, it's not that big of a deal because it ups your DPS, but your DPS dealers should be more aware of the surroundings after that phase. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.